This video narrates the emotional journey of a temple elephant, once revered and celebrated, who spent decades serving in religious festivals and rituals, only to be forgotten and left in chains in old age. We'll explore the deep emotional bond between animals and humans, the forgotten history of temple elephants, the psychological toll of captivity, and the heartbreaking reality of the elephant's final walk. This story is not just about one elephant, it's about a system, a tradition, and a need for compassion. With a voiceover crafted for emotion and depth, this is a story to make the audience pause, reflect, and feel. Have you ever watched a giant fall silently, not in anger, not in glory, but in quiet, heart-wrenching loneliness? This is the story of a temple elephant, a life once celebrated with music and flowers, now ending with chains and silence. For over 50 years, he walked beneath golden umbrellas, carrying gods on his back, blessings on his trunk, and a quiet hope in his eyes. Every festival, his footsteps echoed through the temples, majestic, graceful, worshipped. Children looked up in awe. Devotees folded their hands. Photographers captured him like a divine symbol. But when the drums faded and the crowds disappeared, he was still there, behind the grand temples, tied to a wooden post, alone. They called him the Sacred One. They said he was chosen by the gods. But no god came. When his legs began to tremble, when his back ached from decades of burden, not a single garland, no chants, no prayers for his pain. You see, temple elephants aren't born in temples. They're taken, sometimes as calves, from forests. Their freedom traded for rituals, their language silenced, their herd gone, their memories locked away. What remains is obedience, trained not with love, but with fear, made to stand still under hot suns, to walk in noisy parades with firecrackers and screaming crowds. Every step a sacrifice, and yet they never rebel, never forget kindness, even when they're forgotten. This elephant, he had a name once, but names fade when no one calls them anymore. He gave everything, his youth, his strength, his spirit, and in return, a rusted chain, a concrete shed, a slow, painful walk toward the end. His final walk wasn't grand. No flowers, no drums, no audience, only a few caretakers, whispering stories of what he used to be. They say he stopped walking suddenly, looked toward the temple gates, as if waiting for someone, and then just closed his eyes, as though he knew there was nothing left to carry anymore. They say elephants remember everything, and perhaps he remembered the forest, the sound of rain on leaves, the calls of his mother, and maybe in that last breath, he imagined he was home again. But this story, it isn't just about him. It's about all the silent giants who stand in temples, zoos, festivals, smiling for crowds, while silently fading inside. It's about the lives we admire from a distance, but rarely stop to understand. And it's a question for all of us. When reverence becomes routine, when tradition overshadows empathy, what do we lose? Not just an elephant, but a part of our humanity. Soft tone, hopeful shift, but it's never too late to remember, to respect, to care. Because even in his silence, he left behind a lesson louder than any drum, that loyalty without love is cruelty, and service without dignity is suffering. Let this be more than a story. Let it be a memory, a reminder that every creature, no matter how big, how quiet, or how far from our world, feels and deserves to walk free. Thank you for listening to his story. Not everyone will, but maybe you did, and maybe that's where change begins.